There you go, mate.
Mate,
Fucking far easier. No worries, bro. What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the videos. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that jazz. But it is now time to pull the finger out, stop drinking those beers at 12 o'clock, and get into it. So, if I'm completely honest, I'm a little bit bloody sore today. It is the first day back from holiday. I've had an epic 2 weeks at the beach and hanging out with a lot of friends and family. And I've also decided to pick up the BMX bike again. Used to sort of dabble in the BMX world for a large part of my life there. And this summer, with all the new parks that have been going in around the place, I decided that I was gonna get back into it. And it was all going pretty smoothly until we got to the new park at the Mount. And I was fizzing to ride it, I was getting into it, I was having a mean time. And then I got a little bit carried away, a few friends turned up. I'll chuck in a clip here of what happened. Yeah, so I was actually roasting a few of them before that. I probably did like 5 or 6 in a row, and I was trying to do this little line. It was all going bloody well. And then, yeah, that happened. I'm not fully rehabilitated, if that's a word. Incapable. I'm fucking sore, I'll tell you that much for free. But anywho, that is all behind us now, and we're back in the shed with my girls, with these two marvelous vehicles. And quite honestly, it's a little bit overwhelming to come back after 2 weeks off and sort of look around. There's pretty much a shitload to do everywhere I look. So I did, over the break, I did manage to paint the skirts, and I'm about to paint the guard for the red car as well. Skirts for the white car, that is. We did pick up these WSX style skirts a little while ago, and they've come up pretty sweet. They're typical in the booth outside, never going to be perfect, but they're pretty good. And to be honest, I'm absolutely frothing to see how this is going to look, to be fair. I kind of want to do a lot of things. It's a weird one. There's so much to do on this, and that's just like, you know, get into it. I really do need a mate to come and give me a hand with the fab. I just don't quite feel comfortable. I have been playing with the TIG. We've kind of got the next part of the jump pipe all mocked up there. I will continue to muck around with it, but for the time being, I'm not comfortable with putting any of my own work on this thing. So yeah, until then, we wait. So that's pretty much where we're at with the white car. That is going to pretty much get us onto the main star of the show today, and that would be the red car. So there's a few things that this thing has been needing for a while, particularly after our little incident at Summer Bash last year. It was in a pretty bad way, and the time that I would spend to get it not even close to this was just kind of not really in my scope of work. So it kind of passed the buck on a little bit. I sent it to a good mate, Blaine, who owns a shop, and he smashed it out in like a day. So it does beg the question that now that we have a major panel on the car to paint, and it's not just fiberglass that's inevitably going to get broken, that we should really figure this damn shade of red out. So I went to my paint supplier and I said, look man, we need to figure this out. Like, I really want to get this thing looking one color this year. It's driving me nuts. So we got out the paint shades and we got out the little books, and we went through, and I'm hoping that we got it pretty good. So later today, after we block this down, I'm going to spray it with the base and clear it. And then once I'm comfortable with that is the correct shade of red, then I'll look at painting the back of the car. So that's going to be happening a bit later today. And another thing that we have had problems with is what seems to be a fuel surge problem, or what I thought for a while there was a stuck wastegate spring. Now I'll put a clip in here. And you can kind of see what I mean. Something feels like it's holding it back. like it wants to go, but it won't. So yesterday I was just having a little bit of a muck around, and I was in here just fumbling around, not doing absolutely 5/8, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just pull the fuel pump out and have a look and see what's going on. And what do you know? We found this little guy. Now this is like a locator for the fuel pump that sits in the cradle. And basically without that, you're just gonna have a floppy pump. So that's pretty much how it came out. That's how it came out of the cradle. And this thing was sitting in the bottom of the tank. So in my mind, if I'm correct in thinking that every time that this was sucking, obviously this is your in-tank filter, if that was getting sucked up against that, that is significantly reducing flow. So this is what I think is the issue. And now obviously because all of that's gone, there's obviously all these little bits of plastic that have gone through the filter and most likely through the inline filter in the bay as well. I just thought, bugger it, if it's in there, it'll probably be in the pump as well. So we're just gone ahead, overnight freighted up a brand new fuel pump. It's Walbro 255, 255 litres per minute, per hour, whatever it is. And I thought, bugger it, you know, if that's the only main part that I've got to replace for a whole year of drifting, then so be it. Another thing that I've gone ahead and ordered was a fuel pressure sensor. Now, a little bit stupid, but I just never got around to putting one on the car. It's all pre-wired for it. There's a couple of wires there that are sitting in its own little harness. They're just sort of tucked in down there, and it was always one of those things that after the dyno, I must put a fuel pressure sensor on it. Didn't do it, and it's been fine until now, and I thought, if I had have had a fuel pressure sensor, that probably would have picked it up, that I was getting a weak signal from the pump coming forward, and maybe that would have been able to help me. So with a sensor, and then I'm just going to get on the laptop and tappity tap a few buttons in, and then we'll be able to get a fuel pressure signal on our E-Max, ECU tablet dash, whatever you want to call it, inside the car. So that's what we're going to be getting into today. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Not really too sure where we're going to end up. Probably somewhere in between. We might even end up at the pub. I don't know. So without further ado, let's get it. Bloody good. We have been exceptionally busy over the last few days, working on the white and the red car, which is a bit of a change of pace. I usually pick one project and sort of just get into that, but with everything sort of being at variable loose ends, we'll call it, at the minute, I wasn't really sure what to tackle first. So one thing that I really did want to do is get the white car on its ass as low as possible. It's definitely the style that I'm going to go for, that's for sure. I did have a bit of a go at putting on the rear end area as well. As much as I really love the wingless sort of naked ass of an R32, yeah, I mean, that looks fucking gangster, but I'll chuck a little clip in here. You'll see what I mean. Yeah, I think we will eventually, put a wing on it, put the GDR wing and the set of end caps on. Not those end caps, they are absolute rubbish. I got them for pretty cheap. I thought they'd be alright, but they're definitely not. But the main star of the show for the last day has been the red car. Turns out there was definitely something fishy going on with the fuel. So we've got a brand new pump in the back there. It's sounding a hell of a lot healthier than the last one, so it kind of makes me think that that one was dying anyway. And we've gone ahead and wired in a fuel pressure sensor. So highly advisable. I'm not too up with the play of how to set up sensors in these things with in the software, but I have been learning. So I think I've done it all right though. We've got our the current fuel pressure there, which is the analog input. Start it up. Maybe she's a bit cold. And you get the gist. So you basically have a target of what you're trying to achieve, and then you also have a error setting, or like an error window, which is where you then go through and set up your safeties of if it drops to 10 psi less, 10 psi higher, you can then set your parameters from there. So I'm yet to go through and figure out how to set up the safeties, but it's in there now and I've wired it up. So I'll have another fluff around with that another time, but fairly well sure we're good because we've got the brand new pump and everything seems to be working now. And then of course, the elephant in the room. I'm fairly sure that we've got this dialed now. I've just had this out here baking in the nature booth. It's probably nearly ready to put on the car, to be honest, but I might back it out and then whack it on and see how it looks. Honestly, first glance, I think it's close enough. One thing that has been bearing on my mind is that we're never going to get the actual same color because it's a new versus old paint, effectively. So, you know, that color might have once looked like that when it was brand new, but it doesn't now because it's like 30 years old. So, this is our wrong initial lighter shade, which you can definitely still tell the difference. But yeah, from that to that to that, I reckon we're about money. You can definitely tell the difference if you go to the other side. It's hard to see because it's not in the sun, but those are effectively the same. And then you obviously come around here. Does really beg the question if, you know, do you just paint the whole car? I think I'll paint the quarter. If it doesn't look terrible, then I'll leave it. If it stands out like dog's dick, then we'll just have to commit, I think, and paint it because it just bothers me, you know. I know a lot of people say, who cares, it's a drift car, but this is it for me, you know, like the whole stance, bloody, the way it looks. I don't run missiles, man, like it's just not me. So, oh well, I guess we'll go for a lap and make sure that it still goes all good, and we'll see how we go. Oh, there we go. Definitely still works. We managed to clear that up. I didn't really want to send it too hard down the cul-de-sac today. I was actually trying to monitor things. To test these cars, you've really got to watch what you're doing. Like I didn't want to take the laptop and sort of like be looking at that, but I was trying to watch the little screen, see what things are doing. And it was obviously a little bit cold as well, so just a little sneaky one. Didn't bang it off limit or anything. The hunting for revs thing is driving me insane. I don't know if there's anything sinister or not. It kind of makes me want to compression test it. Just to rule that out. Kind of seems like it might be a little bit low on compression, or it might be a spark thing. Don't know. I'll probably avoid that at all costs until it shows any major signs. In the next couple of weeks, we will get the full new kit from my mate Harry, who's been making that for me, and then we'll get that painted. We'll paint the rear quarter, and then she will sit until the next drift day. So probably not a lot will happen for the next little while until that's ready. And it will be all steam ahead with this thing. I am going to order the ECU very soon, next couple of weeks, and then pretty much hook into that, because then that pretty much means it can run. It'll pretty much be open dump pipe to the ground, but it will run. So it's just that damn close. I feel like once the motor's in and everything's like, intercooler piping's done, really not much stopping us. So that will do it for this one anyway, guys. Bit of an all over the show one, but I figured I had a week up my sleeve. Wanted to get a bunch of stuff done on both cars. Thought I'd bring it along for the ride, so that's what you get. It'll be back to the one car each time videos from here on, I think. But we'll see how we go. So as usual, thank you for watching, and we will catch you next time. Peace.